So, hey, I'm Mikk Vainik from Accelerate Estonia. This is an innovation lab within the Estonian government. And basically, the idea for Accelerate Estonia is to find the next waves of innovation where the government needs to take the first steps, but partners up really closely with the private sector. So if you want to think of an example, think of e-residency, only that we are now trying to go after new waves, maybe similar to e-residency, but probably, and as you will see with a few examples, we're going after some more complex and more dirtier problems than just allowing people to join the Estonian e-society. We kicked off last year at Latitude with the premise that most of the areas that are not regulated at all or are regulated just a little bit are already flooded with new ideas, with new startups. So the next wave of innovation comes from highly regulated areas. And this is Evan Burfield, whose book, Regulatory Hacking, shows a lot of tips and tools for the startup side on how to deal with government. But we believe that you need to go the other way as well. You need to go from the government side nearer to the startups and show what else is possible, what kind of stones can be turned around within the government systems to understand what kind of complex problems can be turned into business opportunities. And that's why we've set up a process. But before we came to that, maybe just some examples that I dreamed up last June about what could happen. Obviously, none of these examples actually happened, so I crossed down May 2020. But the point is still the same. Maybe some of you noticed that a few days ago, Estonia decided that we will have a space law, a law to agree together with the private sector how things that are sent up to the space, how they are regulated, who is responsible for what. So I'm guessing that having a space cleanup day in a few years is not that far off, and Estonia can really have a chance to say how that could actually be done. But ideas without execution or a team are not worth much. So last November, we chose a few of the first teams, and this year we chose a few others. And these are the actual questions that very cool people here in the front row have been working for the last 10 months, in a few cases, a few months. And in a few seconds, you will hear one by one how each of these questions might be answered in the Estonian context in order for the government to make some first steps and so that a new market could be created for not just one, but dozens of new startups in those fields. So my time is up, but I think Johannes can be up here soon and tell us a bit about his project. So please, Johannes.
Hi everyone, my name is Johannes Tammegand and I'm the CEO of Sentinel. Our vision is Estonia 2025, the world leader in countering information warfare. Now, which in today's world is more powerful? $100 million F-35 or this pen that costs 2 euros? In an environment where we make decisions based on the information where we get from internet, it's a lot of times the pen. Because if you think about climate change and how many people don't believe that climate change actually exists, or the influencing US presidential elections, or even in times of current crisis, health crisis, many people not actually believing it even exists and are anti-vaccination, which are also there's few people in my own family that don't believe in vaccines. And just a few numbers, 800 people have died during the coronavirus pandemic because of misinformation. There's a lot more countries every single year understanding that the information space is a new warfare space and using that to conduct psychological operations. And that is estimated to cost $7 to $8 billion every year. 2007 was the year when we as Estonia understood that our digital nation is as important as our physical one. And at the moment, Estonia's government has also realized that how important also our information space is. How do we perceive our information? And that also means we as Estonia, as our government, as our private sector, have the opportunity to become a leader in countering information warfare. So, and how do we do that is similar to how we've actually done with cybersecurity. It's about bringing a lot of different players, sectors, and ministries and private market together. So it's also about education, legislation, strategy, and technology. But that's the current sort of information space is only in the beginning phase, because at the moment, most of the information that you and I and everybody else are consuming is produced by other humans. But this is changing at the moment. So most of you have heard about deepfakes, videos where people can be made to say or do things that they haven't said. And what TARPA is seeing that there's a convergence of that. I was given 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I can speed it up. So where does that AI-generated information leads is to an information environment where the most information is produced by AI. And we need a trust layer for that. And at the moment, every Estonian has a trust layer in their wallet, ID card. And so as Estonian government, we can scale that up to a trust layer to the whole internet. So I'll just skip those, but Courage 48 quickly. We're also going to have an information warfare countering there as well. I'm going to skip that one. We're hiring, and our mission is to protect democracies against information warfare. Thank you very much.
So next, I think, is Pirko from Modern Mobility, and who's going to explain how we're going to move around in the next few years, right?
Yep. Hi, everyone. Okay, hi. My name is Pirko. I'm coming from Modern Mobility. We are a startup working with autonomous vehicles, and today I introduce you a project called MaasXT, what is a digital platform enabling end-to-end traveling. So where is the problem? This is a problem. The cities, in the cities, the space is eaten by the roads, and we need roads because we travel more and more, and we travel with private cars. And this is not also good for planet. Actually, we want to live a little bit different world. At least we dream of it. How to reach there? That is a question. And our vision, what we want to implement also in Accelerate program is that to help Estonia to make with the lowest mobility footprint in the world, the country. Public transport could be a very good alternative, but the user experience of public transport is bad, really bad. First, it's really hard to buy tickets to multiple travels. You have too many apps, and multimodality, that meaning having different travels, this is not very user-friendly at the moment. We developed a digital platform to make it more easy. This is one step towards better mobility. But can you imagine that you're coming from Helsinki to Tallinn and you want to travel to Pärnu? And you can do it with the same ship ticket what you bought for traveling from Helsinki to Tallinn. And this is what actually we want to build. This is a middleware connecting to all different travel providers, and also so that you can purchase the tickets, the revenues are split as needed, and so on. And there is a single API for different partners. So that doesn't mean that we need to build one app, rule them all. where from that point? Actually, our target is to help to bring autonomous vehicles to the transport. For that, we need on-demand transport. We believe that last mile will be on demand. What we want to do together with government, actually with the government, who is at the moment heavily subsidizing transport, could be a very good partner to make and open the market for private initiatives, to bring more services on the market, and also to make subsidizing more transparent. Can you imagine that subsidized are certain times of travel of the certain persons on the certain directions? And all this is transparent. So this is our team. Besides me, Are has been one of the founders of Estonian Tax Board. Tanel, who has the pain of being an entrepreneur on countryside. These are our partners with whom we're building a proof of concept. And let's travel to the future. Thanks.
And so there's a lot that government needs to do first for that kind of mobility future to happen. And there's a lot that government needs to do for circular economy to be jump-started. So Mairi can tell us what exactly that is.
The applause was too early. I'm here now. Okay, hi. I'm Mairi from Materjalivoog, aka Excess Materials Flow. So it is estimated that by the year 2030, the transition towards a circular economy will create about 1.8 trillion euros of net economic benefits. Okay, I have to be here. And this is pretty huge number. It has like 12 zeros. And definitely we want to take a part of it, take a piece of that as well. But there are a couple of challenges to overcome. And one of the challenges we face is the quality of data regarding circular economy initiatives, and then the accessibility of it. Like, how can we make sure that right people get the information they need? So with Excess Materials Flow, our idea was to create a database on manufacturing leftover materials, and then have all this information digitalized, and then show it all in real time. Pretty cool, pretty realistic, but no, we were faced with reality. We were faced with the reality of private sector, which is very sales-driven, which doesn't really care about waste. We were faced with the reality of public sector, which is really slow, unfortunately. And we were faced with the reality of being kind of like a startup where you have to kind of prototype, iterate, change, move, do everything really fast. And we were like, oh, we don't really fit into that category. And if that was not enough to overcome already, then we had another challenge we discovered on the way, which is legislation. So it turns out that the Estonian Waste Law is not at all written in the spirit of circular economy, which means that if there's a manufacturer A who wants to give its leftover materials to manufacturer B as an input material, it is super time-consuming, like 3 to 6 months time consuming. It is pretty bureaucratic, it's costly, and it is not at all competitive with virgin materials. So we went to the Minister of Environment, presented their case and said, if Estonia wants to become circular, which we do, by the way, if we want to reduce waste, if we want to send it more to circulation, then we do need to change the legislation, because at the moment it's a crazy bottleneck. So after many meetings, many discussions and proposals, we did get to a result where we're going to now move on with the legislation change. And we're going to propose something and it's going to be changed. So I am confident that one day Estonia is going to have circular economy fully implemented. We're going to go ahead with the Minister of Environment. We're going to lay the ground with the legislation, so everybody who comes after us can have it easier. Thank you very much. I am Mairi from Materjalivoog.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't want it?
So, and the next superstar is Vera, who has spent a lot of time figuring out whether and how we can involve digital nomads in the Estonian ecosystem and services. So, Vera, please.
Hi, everyone. Vera Suarez with Nomad Security. So I know this year has probably felt like your whole life. So last September is even longer. And that's when you probably would have heard me being introduced for something like digital nomads, pensions, and health insurance. So something like this. It's not very snappy, but that is where this project got started. A pie-in-the-sky idea to have digital nomads opt in to get their social services through Estonia, essentially allowing them to have an additional safety net as they travel while we have revenue for our national system. So then I actually had to figure out how to do this. And that included a lot of research and interviews with nomads, figuring out how the Estonian system actually works, and then the private counterparts that deal with it. So we're all pretty familiar with the term digital nomad now. It gets thrown around a lot. But it's really important to understand that it's a really big umbrella for a lifestyle that does combine remote travel and then a variety of travel styles and frequencies. So this is important when designing a product that actually fits the needs, because each case could be very, very, very specific. Then I needed to figure out the insurance part. The private health insurance was a piece of cake for me. I'm an American, so the government stuff doesn't make sense. So then I actually had to figure out how the Estonian stuff works. Working with the Estonian Health Insurance Fund, the Ministry of Social Affairs, meeting with healthcare professionals, very loud now, and also private insurers, we were able to figure out how we could leverage a product that is advantageous, but also that foresees the challenges that we would have. Ultimately, we became aware that we could combine an offer that takes the best of both what the public sector could offer and the private sector. So as you can see, pensions isn't up there. So what happened? Through our research, we understood that pensions really shouldn't be part of our focus. It's not something that somebody couldn't find at an advantageous offer in the private market. And also nomads, like most people, aren't too prioritized with their pensions. But what are we doing now? Same as Mighty, we are facing some legislative changes. As you may know, that opening a public system to outsiders is a bit complicated. However, I do want to leave one more takeaway that I found to be important during my time with the program, which is that even though working with the public sector was sometimes challenging, we met a lot of people who have a really innovative mindset that are as forward-thinking and creative as anybody that you would find at this event. So I encourage all of you and the program to keep working and building the bridges between innovators that are inside and outside of the public sector. I think together, that is how you actually accelerate Estonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. The next up is Rainer, who will explain how we will get rid of a bad brand in money laundering and turn Estonia into another new financial hub, right?
Hello, hey, my name is Rainer. Well, everybody wants to have a moonshot. But what is the aim of a moonshot? To become a millionaire, to become a unicorn. But can a moonshot also be to have revolution or something? At the end of last summer, we entered Accelerate Estonia hackathon with just the idea how to make fighting with money laundering maybe more modern. We knew there were legal obstacles. We knew there was uncertainty among the companies that keep the companies doing know your customer KYC process in a very old-fashioned way. And now change the team. Think about Google and Facebook. The information they hold on you is so good that they can target advertise with really amazing precision. But actually, so the information we have is very, very good. But so does actually the government and the banks. They even have much higher information about you. But when you apply for a loan, opening a bank account, going to a notary, you have to fill the same information again. We know that the companies are actually doing KYC their own way. There is no standardization. Every company does as it wants to. The same data is asked again and again, and even right now the company is collecting, scanning, and entering the KYC information into computers manually. Billions of euros are spent on that in the European Union, but that information exists somewhere already, digitally, machine-readably. For some reason, it's not accessible. Year by year, the rules for financial sector to conduct KYC has been tightened, bureaucracy increased, but at the same time, nothing has been happened to simplify the collection of KYC information. And now again, when you're applying for a Google or Facebook account, you only fill your data once. And when you use the same account with the same information to apply for a new services. So imagine, with just a few clicks, you can collect the most common KYC data from various databases, including national databases. You can share this information with banks, notaries, auditors, and you always see, before you have shared information, it works up, real time, is interoperable. Simple. Yes, technically this is not hard. The most harder part is the legal obstacles, of course, again, and how to overcome them, how to obtain the information machine-readably, how to use it. And this is actually where Accelerate Estonia came in and understood that only if the government and private sector work together, we are able to bring the KYC into this millennium. So during the past 9 months, we created data sets, standards, legislative act proposals, and we actually created a tool that can collect the most common KYC information from various databases, including from the state. It all works real time, is interoperable. And you know, there is one final step ahead to push the legislation through, but we can see the end of the road and the light there, and hope this is a moon for us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Annan sinna alla. Thank you, and last but not least, Heiti will describe to us what the future of logistics will look like around this area in Europe. So Heiti, you're up next. Thanks.
Hello. My name is Heiti Mering, and I am the co-founder of Logics.digi, which is a platform for logistics services for transportation of goods. Our core team includes a lot of experiences from logistics and IT sector. So we are combining those experiences and developing something which is very, very expected from logistics and very traditional business sector like manufacturing, like retail. Because whatever we are producing, it needs to be transport. Whatever we are buying, it needs to be transport to us. And at the moment, everything there is still based on paper. So even we have thousands of IT solutions that will help to connect business-to-business companies, we still have the paper. And what's the obstacle? Obstacle are mainly the law. Why we are in Accelerate Estonia? Because we believe that we can change the laws, we can build solutions that will combine together different service providers, and to make it to work all over Europe. We believe that Estonia might be small, but our location allows us to be some kind of one of the leaders of European digital logistics and exchanging the data between different levels with the state authorities and also private service providers. So how we will do it? We will keep the business secrets of companies, of the service providers, but still we are able to share the data which is needed by law with the public authorities like police, like customs, so they don't need to stop those cars anymore. They don't need those papers that will be provided by drivers or by logistics. We're utilizing the same data which belongs to any shipment and sharing it between different parties in whole logistics chain. We are not alone. We are even in Estonia, and this early stage we have quite many service providers working with us already. So today and tomorrow we will test already cross-border services from Finland to Poland, and I believe it will be one of the first first digital roads at least in our region. The main idea there is that the car, the driver, and the goods must be connected, and not only with the waybills or shipment documents, but to make them to work as a one group of data. So this is from my side, and thank you.
Thank you. So that's the work we've been doing since last year. We're launching the new version in a couple of months, and I have too many business cards left, so come and talk to me about it. But thanks for your time. This is how we try to build the bridges, and see you around. Thanks.